In this example, I'm going to solve this exponential equation. It's an exponential equation because my variable's in the exponent. The easiest way to solve an equation like this is if I can rewrite the equation so that both sides have the same base. Now the base on the left-hand side is e. It's e to a power. That means I somehow would have to get 127 as e to a power, and I just don't know how to do that. So if I can't get equal bases, the other way I approach this is by saying, there's this property of logarithms. If I have the log of something to a power, I can bring the power down in front. And that's going to help us here. If you have 10 to a power, it sometimes makes sense to take log base 10, which is the common logarithm, and that's the LOG button on your calculator. Otherwise, and especially if we have a base of e, like we do here, we want to take the natural logarithm, log base e, which is the ln button on our calculator. So here, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the natural log of both sides. Now, sometimes people make a mistake here. They start too early. So if I take the natural log right now, this is what happens. I get the natural log of 5 times e to the x equals the natural log of 127. Now, in and of itself, I haven't really made a mistake yet, but where the mistake comes is then looking at this and saying, okay, I have the natural log of something to a power, so I can just bring the power down in front. See, that's not what we have. We don't have the natural log of something to a power. We have the natural log of 5 times something to a power, and that's not what the property says. So I can't do that. What I'm going to have to do instead is do something about this 5 before I do anything else. So let's get rid of this. We don't want this stuff. I didn't want to get rid of all that. Let's see, can I just get rid of that here? Alright, well, getting there. I don't want this stuff. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to get rid of that 5. The thing is, right now it's 5 times e to the x. So to get rid of a multiplication, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. That's going to give me then e to the x equals 127 over 5. Now I can take the natural log of both sides. So the natural log of e to the x equals the natural log of 127 over 5. And now I can use this property where I bring the exponent down in front. So I get x times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 127 over 5. Now, what about the natural log of e? Natural log is log base e, so that's really log base e of e. And remember, that really says then e to what power is e? And of course, e to the first power is e. So if I look at this here, that's going to say x times 1 equals the natural log of 127 over 5, or just x equals the natural log of 127 over 5, and that's what we call our exact solution to this equation. And that's what it says here. Express the solution set in terms of natural logarithms or common logarithms. Then I'm supposed to use a calculator to get a decimal approximation. Now, how we use the calculator depends. Most calculators these days sort of act so that you put things in exactly as they look. And so for that here, if I want to take the natural log of something, I start by just hitting the natural log button, ln. Most calculators start that then with a set of parentheses. And so that's what I put here in blue. If yours doesn't start with a set of parentheses, you're going to want to put it in anyway, though, because I'm going to do then the 127 divided by 5, and then I'm going to close my parentheses before I hit enter, and that's going to give me the solution. Why do I want this? Well, if I didn't have this parentheses here, then the calculator would see natural log of 127 divided by 5, and it would decide to take the natural log of 127 first, and then divide that answer by 5. but that's not what this says. This says I need 127 over 5 first, and then the natural log second. And that's what this does. Now, some calculators act backwards, okay? And once upon a time, all calculators worked this second way, but most of them have changed these days. In these calculators, you have to put in what you're taking the natural log of first, and then you hit the natural log button second. So I would just say 127 divided by 5, but now I have to figure out what that's equal to, so I hit equals, and then I hit natural log. Now, whichever way you do this, if you do this and round to 2 decimal places, I get that x is approximately 3.23. And that would be the approximate solution for this equation. So you just want to work with your calculator and be sure you can get that answer.